obviously a disappointing defeat. There have been issues that have been raised about the top order, dating back to the qualifiers, and we saw those issues rearing their head again today. You know, what's your assessment of what happened today and when you think we lost it?
Well, I mean, firstly, we have to be realistic as well. You know, we're playing against a really, really good Indian side. So, you know, you have to credit them firstly. The cricket they play puts us under a lot of stress from the first ball of the day to the last. We have got issues with our own team. The top of the order is a problem. It doesn't help with Craig Irvin being out at the moment as well. So I think if you saw in those qualifiers, we had Reggie up front with Craig, with Sean Williams at 3, and it was a little bit more stable there. But again, you have to look at the standard of the opposition. With Craig's injury, we've played around a little bit at the top, and we still continue to do so. We're not finding a solution yet. So the answer to the question is, we know we've got that problem. We're searching every day to try and find a solution. At the moment, it means changing personnel, and we'll keep changing until we can find someone that can be there consistently at the top.
Yes. Dave, well, while still talking about the top order, because that seems to be the sore thumb that is sticking out, is it maybe now time to look at some of our, say, test batsmen to try and look at that? So there are the likes of the Kevin Kasuzas, the Prince Mashaures, maybe for consideration for that top spot.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the difficulty we've got at the moment is we've got a tour to Australia on Tuesday morning, and getting visas takes about 2 weeks. So, you know, when we were going well against Bangladesh and well in the qualifiers, we had roughly a group of about 19 people that were given visas, or given the opportunity to get visas. So getting those type of players in now would be counterproductive. But, you know, this is, for me, not a small journey, it's a long journey. And while they might miss now and miss the trip to Australia for the 3 one-days, they're very much in contention when we start looking at our T20 side for the World Cup.
How impressed have you been by the rearguard action, the guys at the bottom of the order? Zimbabwe's also kind of not thought about whether the guys could bat at the end. How impressed are you?
I'm very impressed. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm trying to get us to play a more positive brand of cricket. We've talked about it quite a bit over the last 3 months, to try and play fearlessly. That fear has crept into our top order again, and we have to try and get rid of it. But the positive side for me is the way we're playing in the late middle order in particular. You know, Raza had some great knocks in the Bangladesh. Reggie then batting at 6 came in Bangladesh with 100 as well. But also outside of that, Burl is now starting to show signs of consistency. Luke is being nice and positive down the order, and of course with Richie and Brad Evans, we're getting some nice tail-end runs. It's not leading us to victory yet. You know, those runs should be the icing on the cake that puts us in a winning position. At the moment, they're basically decorating the cake first and make it look not so bad.
Mr. Houghton, Vimal Kumar from India. You were always saying that this Indian team is different, even though they were missing some of the players. Today you saw Mohammad Siraj, and especially the Indian bowling attack. What do you make of Mohammad Siraj, particularly the kind of spelly ball?
Well, we're looking. I'm using the Indian bowlers to try and teach our bowlers, because we have to learn by what we play against. And we looked in our statistical stuff today, the consistency of the lines and lengths that Siraj bowled and the other 2 bowlers. The Indian seamers bowled. You know, you could fit into the size of a laptop. You look at our guys, our seamers, we bowled some very good balls today, but our consistency is twice the size of this tabletop. And that's the learning we need from you know, playing against top sides like that. Our bowlers need to learn, how do we not only make the ball move, but consistently land it in the right place.
You spoke about learning, and what I have seen a lot of Indian players interacting with Zimbabwean players, and this is the kind of bonhomie between these two. Obviously on the field they are very competitive, but off the field, like, it's like big brother teaching something, because they have obviously richer in experience, exposure.
That is the camaraderie of cricketers, isn't it? And it's great that that knowledge passes from one to the other. I mean, if I go back to my own career, and that's probably when we still had black and white TVs, but in those days, you learned by who you played against and who you talked to. There weren't coaches around to tell you to do this and that. And so I'm glad to see that that still exists, and you're right, there's a very good association between our team and the Indian team. And I hope to spend a little bit of time on Monday with the Indian seamers and our seamers as well.
Two unrelated questions. One being there's a lot of stick given to Tanaka Shivaga. Bowled a ball of 144 clip today. And I suppose because we're seeing the speeds on there, we don't really understand the speeds. How satisfied are you by that consistently picking him up, and how important is it for you? And secondly, I remember I've always asked the question. I've asked the question before. Said one of the first times I met you that your dream must have filled this Harare Sports Club with fans again. Tell me about that.
Okay, so the first question with TK, and it was good to see him reach that pace, and actually more consistently around the sort of 130 to 140 mark, which was nice for us. We haven't had a good quick bowler for many years. I think he can bowl that pace consistently over a period of time. It's going to be great for us. He needs to get really fit and strong to do it. I felt today after sort of 3 overs he was already starting to go backwards in pace. And that's just a sign of somebody who hasn't done it for a long time and is not fit enough really to do that job for a long time. So I'm hoping as we go forward over the next couple of months we will get our fast bowling unit properly fit to bowl, and then I think we'll see some rather large improvements. In terms of the crowd, I went out at lunchtime with our guys in between innings to do the slip catching, and then I got the guys together in a group, and it's what we talk about all the time. I certainly talk about it all the time. This crowd supports us, and they're loving the cricket we play, even when we lose, as long as we fight and as long as we entertain. And I thought today that happened. We were in a losing position, we never had enough runs, but we fought pretty hard in the field, we fielded better, we took a few wickets as well, and I think we'll see the crowd back again, and it's great to play with them.
And adding to that, what would you say to those fans that keep coming out?
I don't think I need to say anything to them. I think those fans are loving the way we're playing, and it would be great to have them here for a long time and get bigger and bigger every time we play. So they're brilliant for us. It's like having an extra 2 players in our team. They sing and dance all day. It's absolutely amazing, and we love it. And as I say, it's our target to keep them here all the time.
Coach, a word on Sanju Samson's batting, the way he batted, especially India looked in a bit of trouble, and then the way Sanju Samson guided the England chase.
Yeah, he hits the ball so clean. Every time he sort of took on the boundary, he either cleared it or smashed it into the boundary at great pace. I felt watching from where we were and what our sort of ambitions were as a bowling attack when he arrived at the crease, we wanted to be aggressive with our seamers. I would have liked to have seen us continue that aggression to the end of the game. We didn't really need to bowl our spinners at him. But having said that, he hits an incredibly clean ball. He looks calm and composed at the crease. So yeah, we've got our problems cut out of him. I think we'll have to keep the spinners away from him next game.
Okay, the last 2.
Okay, Coach, the unconfirmed report that Blessing has recovered. Could we be seeing him on Monday?
Yeah, he has definitely recovered, but we won't see him on Monday. And I'll say that because I can't talk about what happens in the past, but I can only bring my experience from county cricket with me. When players get injured like that, particularly bowlers, it's one thing to get them recovered, it's another thing to get them bowling fit to bowl aggressively in matches. Because even bowling in practice is 50% of what you would put in if you were bowling against a batsman in the game. So what we'll have to do with Blessing is build up his loads slowly. So we started bowling over the last couple of days just off a short run-up. We'll build it up to a longer run-up. My target for Blessing is the second game in Australia. We can get him playing the second and third game and we've done well.
Okay, last one, Teach.
Alright, Dave, one of the issues you kept talking about is consistency, whether it's coming to the bowling or the batting. How do you plan to make sure that the team overall, whether it's with the bat or the ball, becomes more consistent? And going into that final match on Monday, you've lost the series. What is the motivation going into that particular match on Monday?
I'll answer the last one first because it's easier. The motivation is simple. When you play sides like India and that, even if you can't win a series, you try and win one game because that leaves you in a great position afterwards. So we will be coming on Monday, trying as hard as we can to win that game. In terms of the consistency of performance, it's not something we can just click our fingers and change us overnight. I've been relatively pleased with the consistency over the 2 months, but then, like I said, the associate members that we played against in the qualifiers, the pressure was on us big time, but the actual standard of the cricket is nothing like this. So we were a little easier on the field in terms of the cricket, even though the pressure was probably twice as much. Bangladesh obviously was a good challenge for us, but they're more likely in our ballpark in terms of ability and so on. India is a step way above, and Australia will be the same. You know? So the consistency comes with continued practice, practicing the right things in the right way. It comes with how our franchise cricket plays throughout the season, our domestic cricket, because that's where we produce our cricketers from. And then hopefully it comes with the confidence that comes when the team starts to win a few games. So, you know, we won up until India came here. Now we need to, you ask me what is the thing about Monday? Well, if we win on Monday, the consistency will start to return again and guys will believe in what they do.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, Dave.